welcome to Thursday Night Debate with Taghreed Hussein here on Nile TV International. Well, tonight a very important topic. We're talking the youth, we're talking the future, we're talking in investing in the human being. And under the leadership of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, practical steps have been taken in order to integrate the young people today into the various executive bodies. His Excellency has always stressed the need to listen to the youth and to engage them within the different ministries and the government agencies and also in governorates and to provide them with all sorts of training. Today we have a very considerate number of our young cadres in leading positions in Egypt, and the political leadership believes in competence and their ability in order to make a difference. The young generation are assuming leadership in Egyptian posts today, in high-ranking posts, as governors, as deputy governors. We find them also as very bright faces in our parliament. So initiatives has also been established, and we find more than one initiative that comes in order to support the youth and to train them and to take good care of them, namely the Presidential Leadership Program, the PLP, the different three pivots, engaging them also and preparing them for leadership posts, and also in sports and in culture, engaging them in the life in Egypt as a whole. And this is really one of the main fruits that are considered to be a backbone for achievement in the country, taking care of your youth and preparing them for the future. Tonight we'll be talking about reaping the fruit, and 2020 has been a very fruitful year for Egypt's youth. Previously, of course, it started the different youth forums all over the country, and the World Youth Forum that has engaged youth not only from Egypt, but youth all over the world coming to the country and experiencing a great and memorable experience in Egypt. Nile TV International has been covering that front on more than one level. So we're talking youth today and talking the future and talking optimism for the future and talking how the president had supported them, listened to them, and had really offered an example to follow for the different executive institutions in the country. On that topic, I have all the honor and pleasure of having with us Mr. Mohamed El Saedi, who is the member of the Coordination Committee for the Party's Youth and Politicians. The Party's Youth and Politicians has been a very bright face in the country. They have been doing a lot. They have a great youth like Mohammed, very representative of Egypt, a great image to the world. Mr. Mohamed, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, and the honor is all mine. I would like also to say that I'm honored to be with you today in the program. You are a very, very bright example of women empowerment in Egypt, being the Undersecretary of the Media Authority and the President of Nile TV, and the honor is all mine.
Thank you so much, dear. Thank you so much, dear. And 2020 has been a very fruitful year for the country. The youth have been really seen playing a very positive role. They are there, they are sharing. Even during the time of COVID-19, we found them around helping for the political life and the political transformation that Egypt has witnessed. We've seen the youth today engaged. We've seen the youth today well prepared. We've seen the youth today making a difference. So I guess this has been a very optimistic note for 2020.
2020 has been a very, very bad year to all the world, but despite that, Egypt has recorded 3.7 growth GDP, which was very, very unexpected, and all of that was to economic reform initiated by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. A part of that reform I would like to pinpoint, which was the SMEs loans. It was for 5% interest. It was aimed for youth. So youth on all sectors, investing in youth, this kind of reform created a better reality, even when the entire world is being abrupt due to COVID-19, but Egypt has been going through and has been helping others and been showing a great example both internally and on the international front on how a country can stay together, stay united throughout crisis.
Definitely, it has been, the actual representation of youth. We are always very proud of our youth today. The president is proud of Egypt's youth, and he pinpoints, always highlights the fact that they are our treasure, they are our future. We would find His Excellency at the different World Youth Forums registering himself the ideas that are presented by the youth, and following up by himself their implementation. So it's a great feeling to feel that you are listened to, and definitely this made a difference in the youth spirit and their sense of belonging to the country.
Of course, because patriotism is not only, you're not born a patriot, that's partial, but it has to be raised in you. It starts from your school, it starts on how you're raised in your family, on the ideas you believe in, and it really helps, it really strengthens that patriot sense in a person when they feel that their political leadership is on their side, that they are supporting them, they know you exist, they know what your problems are, and they're listening, and they're extending a hand of cooperation. If you work, you're going to reap. So President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has been a great example of what a leader can represent to the youth of a country. And that was following a part or a general age in Egypt where there was a lot of political unrest and a lot of political discrimination. So when you have a president that is creating collective agreement and collective cooperation, it was really good. It was really good to meet to meet our president and to talk to him and find him actually listening and registering and then announcing at the end of every youth forum what he's going to execute and what he's going to look into. It was great. It was great,
and actually we've seen the faces of the important coordination committee for the party's youth and politicians, bright faces of youth. We've seen their sense of keenness on the country. We've seen a vision. Tell me more about the vision so that also our foreign viewers would know more about the coordination committee for the youth parties and politicians, and also the plan of action today.
The CPYP was formed following His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
His directives.
Yes, it was. He made a sort of announcement that it would be great if we have a group of parties, politicians working together on agendas like dialogue, promoting dialogue, and creating collective agreement. Then us as youth, we actually collected ourselves and we presented the idea that we are gonna regroup and we are gonna organize and we're gonna submit the CPYP, or the Coordination of Parties, Youth and Politicians. The CPYP is formed of 25 parties, all of which are in parliament, and several political representatives. They're not a party, they're independent, like myself, and we aim to mainly for promoting dialogue, creating political agreement, and stretching what politicians can do, because politicians has always been stereotyped that they are people who only work on the street and they only appear during campaigns before parliament and all of that. But we decided to introduce the cadre of a politician.
A statesman later.
A statesman, a politician and a statesman.
Yes.
Capable of executing projects, capable of creating strategies, and capable of managing and leading teams throughout crises and throughout the good days, and I hope we will be able to reach as far as we hope we will, and as far as we started off when the coordination was established.
Yes, from the name, the coordination, it means that we have many hats on. It means that there is a diversity. It means that we have brains on the table, and each in a different speciality. I know, for instance, Mohamed, that you are a pilot yourself.
Yes, madam.
And definitely there are different cadres and the different walks of life. You think this sense of diversity has helped and re-energized the party?
It did not only help. Actually, imagine a field or a garden with different colors and roses, and this sense of diversity created
dynamism.
That's the exact word I was looking for. It created for myself, I am a right-wing politician. I'm all liberal and capitalist. But I find across the table when we are in a meeting, a left politician from, let's say, Tagamwa party or a social democrat. And basically, both of us come from very different backgrounds. We have very unique identities and ideologies. But we always sit down in agreement of what is best for Egypt. And we compromise when we create a strategy, when we create a project, when we aim to produce some sort of work for our political work. We compensate. We come to middle grounds. We work as one team. And this diversity, as you said, this dynamism created better solutions. It created better projects. It created better achievements for the CPYP.
Definitely it did, and achieving those efforts and working on a vision. Today Egypt is witnessing an unprecedented number of developmental projects all over the country. The whole world would see through Nile TV International how this made a difference. The youth participation in that sense, and also providing them with incentives to share. We need that all the youth of Egypt would really feel what is being done and to share in that development.
First of all, it's not a one-way street. We always were listening, or we always were discussing what is the government doing, why are they not engaging. To be honest, governments are not supposed directly to engage, or you're supposed to do. It's an individual effort. You're supposed to set off, you start working, you start producing ideas, you start working on yourself, improving yourself. You try to go. There are constitutional ways and legally supported ways of introducing yourself to politics and being in leadership. You're supposed to follow this path laid by the Constitution, which is higher than everything and everyone. And you're supposed to do that with a sense of patriotism and a sense of commitment to your country and to your agendas and to your goals and your ideologies. So the government has been doing its part throughout World Youth Forums and several conferences for youth. Empowerment projects. For instance, there are 23 deputy governors and governments and governorates, and there are 2 governors. So the government has been doing its part, but it is your duty, it is your responsibility to take action, to work for your country, and to always improve yourself.
Mm-hmm. Opening new channels with the young is very important. Let us know more about their dreams, about their aspirations, about how they are thinking, about what do they need to become more engaged in the country, in your opinion?
The youth need to be more engaged on two fronts, mainly politics. Every youth should look into politics, either by going in attendance to political party meetings and seeing what party is close to his ideology and his ideas and to his agenda, and working with that party in order to set a political strategy for himself and for his party and for Egypt. Because youth in Egypt are lacking on this front. They do not participate in politics. Maybe in elections they did. The numbers were fair enough in the past parliamentary elections, but working in politics or being in politics is not only going to elect. It's actually by going and working in political parties and NGOs and volunteering yourself, volunteering your time for that. So youth are supposed to work on that front. Other front would be entrepreneurship. Youth need to get more involved with the market and the international side of business. How to improve businesses in Egypt, how to create new ideas, and how to make use of the digital age we now live in, and
yes,
promoting
definitely.
their businesses.
Yes, very important to be engaged in that respect as well. Well, we have more than one important component if we're talking about youth empowerment and also the ladies, how to empower them also to be a part of the decision-making process, and this has happened also in the new parliament.
Yes, new parliament, the law was passed that presentation of ladies in parliament cannot be less than 25%. So the municipality election law, by the way, which is 25% of 52,000. So imagine the numbers. We're talking 18,000, something like that. So women, and I do not call it lady empowerment. I call it the reality. It's a reality in Egypt. It's not an empowerment of a sector.
Yes, it's not a gender.
Yes, it's, for Egypt is formed of 48% ladies, and these 48% create 100% of what the society we live in now, on all fronts: business, homesteads, schools, on all fronts. So women in Egypt has been carrying this country since 7,000 years and shall continue to carry it further on legislative fronts and in governance.
Definitely it is, and well, we are actually reaping the fruit of a very important year for the youth achievements on more than one front. The President is backing the youth in order to attain their aspirations. The World Youth Forum and the National Youth Forum that has been held all over Egypt has contributed a lot in that sense of the direct engagement between the leadership and the youth. And it was very fruitful, this sense of dynamism, when you are there around at the World Youth Forum or at the different national youth forums. You could feel this positive vibes. It's full of energy and it's full of life. This report will be back.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stressed on the International Youth Day that the state is deeply interested in supporting youths to realize their aspirations. On his social media page, the president said, "On the International Youth Day, I voice deep appreciation of the promising Egyptian youths." The president said it is youths who drive their country in its sacred battle to achieve more development and overcome any challenges. President al-Sisi said that Egypt has always been keen to back youths to realize their dreams. Sisi's keenness on promoting youths and standing on the challenges besetting them has been manifested in organizing an annual youth forum, the World Youth Forum. 3 editions of this forum have been held since 2017. Meanwhile, Youth and Sports Minister Ashraf Subhi said the Egyptian government is seeking to get youths to be more involved in social issues, with full support of the political leadership. He noted that many conferences have been held to give voice to youths in order to get them to vigorously contribute to handling social issues. He added that youths have launched several initiatives and innovative solutions to beef up state efforts to confront the coronavirus at the health, social and economic levels. Subhi noted that the ministry is gearing up to launch a platform for all-out youth activities, Kayani, soon, with an aim to serve Egyptian youths and further encourage them to join hands with the state. The United Nations in Egypt has organized an International Youth Day event in collaboration with its different agencies, which work closely with the government of Egypt, in particular the Ministry of Youth and Sports on youth initiatives. This year, the International Youth Day was held under the theme of Youth Engagement for Global Action, to set out a call to young people to engage in global action for the public good. This year, the International Youth Day took place during an unprecedented global health crisis, COVID-19, the first pandemic that the world is experiencing since more than 100 years.